Yeah, and it also just makes the lanes a lot easier. And then you do wonder what we're looking at when it comes to our carry, because of course, Witch Doctor feels great paired up with a Juggernaut, paired up with even I would go so far to say as a Drow Ranger, just somebody that gives a little bit of magic damage in addition to what the Witch Doctor can do. But that's also where, because you've decided to wait on your hero choice now, you're going to get the Scourge McDuck heroes banned out against you.
Yep.
And do find, yeah, the wrestler back. Why not? It just makes sense. You want to take it out and cut. I can almost say for sure, probably should see a Viper ban. Just don't let them have the combo. Visage is always taken out. Italiano Gangster almost needs to play a ranged hero with the Marcy. I'd be very surprised if he went for anything else, but that's where I think just making sure that the DogChamp don't find that balance in their lineup here before, it's time to pick their hero. Go for it. But that's where for Scourge, all he has to do is find a hero that's going to play up nicely versus the Bloodseeker or is unapproachable. It's why the TB ban feels pretty good, but that's where, is it time for Naga Siren? It very well could be. Anybody
Hmm.
that buys a Manta style has already just shot up the list of priorities because, of course, you're playing versus Silencer. You want a casual Dispel. You want someone who's going to have a real easy time of playing versus that hero. And then is the rest of the lineup going to be able to deal with you? We'll have to see. It's where I do wonder what they're going to end up going for. I hope they don't pick Lifestealer. That's my one caveat.
Yeah.
It looks like a good Lifestealer game. Lifestealer versus Bloodseeker's classic because you can't get ruptured because you just hop in somebody. But I don't want to see that hero because I still don't believe in him very much. But for DogChamp, Italiano, what are we playing here? Because there are a good few heroes that you're just going to get countered out versus your lane. And again, ranged hero wise, a lot of the best ones are already taken away.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, there's always technically still something like the Veno play to be had, but okay. They're going to take it in a different direction, not strictly adhering to the ranged
Hmm.
offlaner plan as they go for the Beastmaster instead, and well, that's not a bad play, right? You've got yourself the Roar to maybe go through some BKBs, go through the roll on the Pangolier, and I will say the Beastmaster is still going to contribute a pretty substantial amount of damage too in these fights while still having the utility that you would want from your position 3.
Yeah, the only problem is that Naga Siren pick looks perfect
Yeah.
now. It just looks like the thing that you should go for if you're the cut. You've got the setup with the Pango, you've got the follow up stone with the Shaker. Sure, maybe you're a little bit vulnerable versus the Silencer early on, but I feel like it's just a little bit too free. And it is surprising that the Beastmaster makes it all the way to the final phase here. It's why I think we both kind of missed the call, but don't think it should matter too much. And again, even though you are one of the best offlaners in the meta, well, you're a mid laner that provides no additional setup. Right now, you just have Roar and Marcy spells. Team fight wise and lockdown wise, DogChamp have a few problems. And of course, they have counted out their opponents, at least for directly with the heroes. And that's also where the Pango has not been shifted around. It's just going to be Nico's hero
Whoa.
regardless. And they go for okay, a different counter versus the Beastmaster in lane, but not what I was expecting versus Bloodseeker. This was a hero that just gets locked out of the team fight with the Rupture. Your Blink Strike is not long enough to avoid Rupture damage. You are in, and you stay in. And now, instead of having a casual Manta carry that they can play around, they are all inning on Battle Fury BKB instead. So we'll have to see, but very, very different route that I expected them to take it in.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Naga Siren just kind of seemed free and clear at this point, and as you say, PA still does well against the Beastmaster, right? And we might see Italiano shift into more of the Axes build because his boar could get bullied, but boy, oh boy, ET, you better damn well make sure Scourge has just absolute free farm,
My table
preferably in the
is
lane, but
overclocking.
for sure when he rotates out of it as
My
well. Because if he's
table
getting
is
pressured up
not
at all,
working.
this is gonna be a struggle.
Yeah, and it is, as every Battle Fury carry is, much slower. You have to wait for a lot of your items. You're probably going to have to concede a good few bit of your towers. And nicely, you do get to double down on your physical damage. And I suppose maybe the PA is a little bit more of a killer in the lane than the Naga Siren. So paired up with the Witch Doctor, maybe it'll be a little bit easier to play. But it does feel a little bit like a gamble. But we'll have to see because unfortunately, for Stonebank, he got his carry picked so much sooner. He didn't have to worry about counter picks. He just said, okay, I guess I'm playing Bloodseeker. into whatever at this point, and then your offlaner still gets counted at the end of the day. But this is also the game for the cut to win. In the best of 3, they got last pick this time around. DogChamp will most likely get last pick in game 2. And then, hopefully, well, you win the coin flip come game 3. But we'll have to see, because right now I think finally
Yeah,
got on
it was
pause. We were
paused.
paused in the draft for a second, but then this game should get underway. And really, we'll have to see how countered out Nico feels, because sometimes feels like this is the hero, this is the player that just makes the game work for the cut. He carries them. He carried them so hard in that first game versus SG last night on his Void Spirit. He was the one thing kind of working out for them, and they bought enough time and space for Scourge, but that's where I think he can get shut down very easily. And not only that, you've been countered out in the first phase, you're going to get all of your mana stolen away from you in the mid lane, then you're going to get roared every single team fight, you know? He's really been sacked right now for the cut.
Yeah, it just feels so uncomfortable for the cut. Scourge is the guy who needs to do the farming, and they need to make the space for him, but the primary means at your disposal to make that space and buy that time is a DP and a Pango, neither of whom are going to have the most fun in the world against the heroes that are going to be trying to force them into fights. So, well, if you're the cut, you just need to buy that time. It doesn't mean you have to win the fights, you just have to survive them. So maybe that'll be the name of the game for them, as we got another pause now that we're actually into the match.
Yeah, love it. Love pauses in Dota too. Yeah, can totally pause in all pick matches. But and we'll see. Hopefully they get this sorted out. And it was DogChamp that actually paused. So I'm not sure if they were the one that was pausing in draft or if that was their opponents, but we'll have to see. Maybe maybe some discussions being had, but not too long of a pause, and yeah, we're gonna get underway.
Cool. All right. Yeah, not sure what either pause was for. The first one was from the... Actually, we do know what the first one was for. The pause was because Stonebank DC during the draft, so... Wow. Wrong team. Scourge DC during the draft. My apologies. But they got him back in. They resumed the game. Now we resume this as well, and let's see if there's any sort of early fight here. 5-man smoke out from the cut, but, well, could just be a vision smoke. It looks like that's exactly what it is. These wards both in a little bit more of a defensive kind of arrangement here, ET.
Yeah, no, really, just to scout out the rotation of the Marcy, which does make a lot of sense. You want to make sure that Yaren, once that lane ends up getting pushed into Italiano Gangster, you can't just immediately pick up the Marcy and then take her mid, but this is really only to scout out the Marcy, which is kind of funny, but no, it feels nice and it is important because, again, Nico on this Pango, you need your levels. You need at least level 5 so that way your Swashbuckle can actually be used to push out those lanes. And then the lane gets a lot easier. But until that point, Yarn will certainly look to put that pressure on. And we'll see, because Yarn, he's not a man to give up. It feels like if he does go mid, sees that the Pango gets immediately defensive, then he comes back smoked because he always wants to make those plays happen.
And he's on a hero in the Marcy who, in all honesty, has the tools to maybe just brute force it even through vision. So we'll see whether he does that as we have yet another pause. This time there is an actual DC out from the DogChamp side as B9 dealing with a little bit of lag. So not sure if it's the players at this point or maybe a little bit of server instability. In fairness, ET, we just got done playing a full series on the Argentinian server the last time around, so I can't really tell anymore if it's just lag or something else.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people using their computers right now as well. You know, I wonder if that ever has a play with you know, the whole Overwatch release that, you know, I totally got to play yesterday. Ha 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 ha. Blizzard.
My favorite character is server error.
Yeah, I know. I'm already server error. But no, yeah. Wayne, game should get underway now, please. And we'll have to see, because a lot of sentries actually picked up from DogChamp. They are looking to maybe try and get themselves into this tree line. They'd have to bring a lot more heroes, but that's where level 1, you do kind of want to give the advantage over the team with the Shaker, just because if B-God does find a block off, could end up eating a good few of those right clicks, but we're going to have to see. It looks like Yarn's going to be in the hot seat here. Pingu Priest got up the cask, so could see this battle come out, but being very defensive right now, but Here we are.
Italiano throws the axes. You guys gonna get hit by the rebound. Does he have a fissure out? Yes, he does, but now the EMP is gonna get dropped. Didn't even need it. Axes get the job done. Italiano finds first blood, and, well, I think you're pretty okay giving up some bounties there in the river if it secures you the kill.
No, for sure. And they didn't even lose that on, I think it was still a, yeah, 2-2 split, so why not?
Oh, yes, it was. My bad. So yeah, 2-2 split and first blood. And Italiano, I mean, this skill build, or I say skill build, first skill choice, this doesn't affect him in the slightest, right? This might have been the play that he would have made in this lane, even if they didn't have a first blood opportunity here, just because you're going up against both Cask and the Stifling Dagger. So you pop the boar, it's not going to last very long.
No, and this is very funny. Italiano with his little bit of gold here bought Sage's Mask and Tangos, but the Invoker's Courier is also here because it looks like he clicked onto it. So now if RCY, yeah, he's going to start bringing his Courier back, and his items are not going to be there for quite a while. But yeah, funny stuff. Funny stuff.
How do you go about misclicking on that one? That's a weird one, but hopefully someone, realized and let him know. Otherwise, things are going to get kind of awkward, but should be just fine. The Invoker starting to buy up some stuff. It's going to come out to him, and over in the other lane, Pingu getting hit up again. Yarn, though, isn't level 2 yet, so without the Dispos, they're not quite going to be able to go all the way in for that, but just trying to sort of keep the pressure on, make sure Pingu's not getting overly comfortable here, as they do try for the Maledict, but there just isn't any actual damage, so that's a bit of a swing and a miss, and Italiano actually does have the board now. He hasn't summoned it yet, maybe just trying to hold off for a time when they're actually pushing in so that it doesn't get preemptively sniped out, but he's going to try and go for that play. Nope, and here it is. Scourge, rebound, dispose. Pingu steps out of lane just for a moment, but he does have that Phantom Strike to get away.
And I think, yeah, probably is going to get another point in board up at level 2, just in that way his board doesn't just die to a Blink Strike, but then you're going to be pretty happy. Also, they keep this wave this far pushed up. Scourge is going to have to buy his Ring of Health all the way on the other side of the map. I think he's already preemptively, hasn't started moving his courier just yet, but it's something you never really want to be forced to do. You always want to just push on the wave and then get it for free, because you actually have it just that much earlier. But until then, Scourge does have to be mindful, let's say, of his positioning, because Pingu, he wants to get some pulls going, but just hasn't found the time yet. He did just unblock his camp, so we'll be respawning in 10 seconds here, but that's where if Yaren can actually stack up that large camp, or, okay, I guess Yaren just looks to body block the small camp, but the levels are getting made, and Italiano isn't really getting denied either. Been very smart about his axe usage.
Yeah, he has been very much on point with the axes so far. In the meantime, well, let's swing things around here. Take a little bit of a look at that top lane where Stonebank is farming up relatively well so far, 15-2. Trying to get a little bit active in terms of using that blood right, but it's only level 1, so I don't know. This is a bit of a strange lane. I mean, B9's going to come out here and try to be as annoying as humanly possible, but it feels like in a lot of circumstances, Nick and B-God do have enough health to absorb a pretty substantial amount of the damage B9's going to try to do.
Yeah, and it's nice that it's all up front. Of course, it's the big change on 732C, but it just doesn't feel like with this lane they can necessarily get any of that burst out. It's just more or less them having some fun just laning. And we'll see, because Stonebank always starts to pull away a little bit last hit-wise, but Nick is following him right now, and if you can't fight for those denies, don't really feel that great as a hero, as, well, getting some trades now, but Siphon goes through, Fisher goes through, nobody gets anything going.
Not a lot to be done there, but back down bottom, they're trying to play up a bit on Italiano. They tried for the Maledict combo onto him, but they weren't able to find the kill, and now with Yarn back in the lane, they are trying to turn. Italiano's going to get the kill. That is not going to be enough to kill him, though. The Maledict wears off, so he's alive, and he's looking for an axe play here. Can't get too close, but he is going to throw it out. A little bit of extra damage. There's going to be the dispose. Pingu tries for the cask, but I think he's going down here. Axe is back up again. He does go down. Maledict should not be enough to take him down, but with Scourge back in the lane, he wants to turn on to Yarn, but this PA just doesn't have the damage right now.
No, and Scourge needs to be careful. Doesn't want to eat anything else, and there is a full wave hitting him. They shouldn't have any business pushing this that much harder, but this is all damage that is making it almost impossible for Scourge to walk up and get these last hits. With Pingu returning, though, they should be very aware. And yeah, they saw him in the trees, so does free up Scourge to get some of these last hits. But just, again, a very disruptive play to stop the PA from farming all those creeps.
And then up in the top lane, Stonebank and B9 made an attempt onto Nick. They almost got him, and actually they might just get him here. He can't get out of the Blood Right. Oh, boy. There's that combo coming into focus. It's not much of a slow from the Arcane Curse, but it is there. If you catch out the DP right in the center, she's not fast enough to get away.
No, and really, it wasn't even a mistake from Begon, but he just decides to leave, wants to be involved on these 6-minute runes, and just didn't want to be top any longer. And right now, the cut, they might even just want a soul play here. And Nico, he's one creep away from hitting level 6, so they could look for a dive on the RCY if they really wanted to, but instead, looking for the rune, forces Pingu to take the invis, and then this play dies down pretty much immediately. They're picking up B9, but I feel like this is a little bit too hard to force, even though, again, both the cut supports trying to angle, but just not making it happen, so they have to give up and help their lanes.
Yep. Gonna make their way back to their respective lanes here. Pingu, though, does still have the invis rune. It was scouted out, so they should know, but I think they have any actual detection at the moment, so maybe he gets in here. Being real sneaky at the moment, and with the Pango coming over as well, this could turn into something a little bit bigger. DogChamp don't seem to know what's coming. Well, maybe they do now. Spidey sense is tingling, trying to get away, but Nico's still in. Scourge is going to jump his way forward, and Italiano's going to get taken down.
Nope, very nicely played,
too.
They would like him.
They should have the damage for this. It may not be quick, but they'll get it done. Sniped out the board, too, with that swashbuckle, so nicely done. Mid-play may not have worked out the way you wanted, but you're still able to use the power rune to get 2 big kills elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, and I suppose just DogChamp doing their kind of mental math there, as Nick's taking quite a lot of damage top, and, well, he's got Fairy Fire, he's got a stick, but, yeah, is forced to use both, and then they disengage, but I guess DogChamp just kind of mistime it, I think, for calling the Pango. They knew that he had to go and get a bounty rune to fill up his bottle, but then just still stuck around, I think, a little bit too long. Because as soon as the Pango stops showing mid, you know that he's doing something. But then they just don't make the call, I think, quick enough. As RCY misses his tornado
might get a little punished here.
Oh, yeah.
Stonebank is being forced to retreat. B-Got, oof. It was worth a try, but that's a low percentage play trying to get the totem. But hey, they get the kill. For the first time in 8 minutes, little Nick can finally get people off of his back in this lane as he was getting pressured up. But now, the pressure didn't go away, it just shifted. Over towards the middle lane as Yarn and RCY are trying onto Nico. There's going to be the tornado hitting onto 2. EMP comes in as well. Nico's able to dodge it, though. And now, he's going to roll his way back in with B-God coming forward. They throw down the fissure. They're going to hit onto Yarn. But Nico realizes that's all he's going to be able to get. No mana and very little health, but they turn the fight.
Yeah, no, turns the fight, scoops up that kill, pops the arcane, and is now looking for Italiano, who they know is alone right now. Of course, he has the roar, so still need to execute this pretty nicely. And Yarn's coming in, but is it too slow? It feels like it. Yarn might try to help his teammate, but even now, he's afraid to show, and yeah, the Nico rotations keep working out.
This Pangolier starting to get some speed underneath him here at 3-0-1. It is nice to see a Pangolier not in poverty mode after the bad matchup we saw earlier on. So Nico really doing his best here, but there might be a bit of a return play up top. They've brought RCY in, but Nick is not really feeling this one. He's backing off immediately. I don't think they actually saw anything there. Or maybe they did. They did have this ward in the river, so they might have seen RCY come up there in the first place. And now they know he's out of lane now, too.
Oh, it's a very difficult play as well. If Nick is up pushing the tower with Exo, then the Invoker coming feels a lot better, because then you just need a hero to break the TP. But even then, simply rupturing and walking up to a Death Prophet that has 2 or 3 siphons going, it's not an easy kill by any means. And then there's always the threat of the Pango just TPing in and then rolling on top of you. I think once he has Witchblade, RCY probably can make that rotation feel a little bit nicer, but until then, we're kind of just waiting to see where Nick decides to actually use his Exorcism. Of course, pairing with the 10-minute cart could be a play for him to just push down Stonebank's tower, but He also knows that he can't overextend himself too far, otherwise it would just be a free play and a free punish. As again, on the runes, Nico, he's 3 for 3 with the power runes, and what a position from Pingu.
Hmm.
Well,
He was able to pop some wand charges, so they still need a little more damage onto him.
now
Alnic will
Nico.
not finish the job, and yeah, Nico's too far forward. Now he's going to get punished. He's getting hit up, silenced, cold snapped, taken down, and incredible positioning from the supports on the cut side, but even better out from DogChamp.
Oh yeah, just exactly where they needed to be. And now there's even more action mid. They do eventually, yeah, unable to fully connect there on Yarn, but this isn't the only one across the map for DogChamp. They're also forcing Scourge out of bottom. The Roar did go through and just barely was able to survive with the PA, but the towers are getting sieged now.
He's got that Dom helm up, so Hellbear Smasher helping the push, and this is going to be a concern for Scourge, right? Once this bottom lane is, oh god, no longer safe for him, he's got to find somewhere else to move. He's going to try and actually TP himself back now, but while that happens up top, well, they're going to go on to Lil Nick. That's a level 1 Sunstrike, so it's really just there to get him an assist, but it does the job. Stonewing finds the pick, and DogChamp are starting to feel a little bit more confident there. They did have to use Rupture ET, but that is the thing about the Bloodseeker in this scenario. You would love to go finding a target for your Rupture, but you also don't want to leave the farm in this lane, so the fight really does need to come to him, and well, that time around it did.
Yeah, not just that. Yarn just got his level 6. Didn't need to buy the tome, so both your supports on DogChamp have their ultimates here. Of course, Unleash, probably the strongest level 6 timing in the game. Right up there with a lot of other heroes. And they're actually going to smoke and make an attempt towards mid. And this is the perfect play. Using the global aggressively early on. You catch Nico in the river, just playing up, playing aggressively on RCY like he has the entire game. And you might be able to get a pick. Biga did just got the smoke though, so going to be a little bit more privy to the rotations, but this is still a mistake that Nico cannot afford to really catch himself in, because he will just die. He's so close to defusal as well. Almost expect him to just nuke out the wave and then retreat really deep into the jungle, but watch him right now. Again.
They make the move. Tornado, Cold Snap, Global Silence, easy kill. It was so close to the defusal. As you said, just the plan's there. It's just the creep wave doesn't actually come up when he wanted it to, and he's left just kind of standing in the middle of the river. Glyph is going to eat a lot of this damage, but they're still hitting it up, and this is a push onto the tower where the Beastmaster is not even here. So
yeah, and now he gets to walk over though, because both supports on the cut in a reactive play tried to make a play on him bottom, but they weren't able to do the follow-up connection, so Italiano just leaves the lane. He just decides to come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to help you guys get the tower. Yeah, this works for me. Has a full Vlad's now coming out on the courier, and now you get to rotate Stomach to the jungle. DogChamp are just being very efficient. Everything is just kind of playing out for them. And of course, Nick was able to claim a tier 1 on the other side with his Exorcism, but that's time. That's 80 seconds before he has it back up. It's where the Beastmaster just using his creeps. It's not like Italiano Gangster is afraid to fight. He's got everything still.
yeah, and he is starting to close in on Helm of the Overlord at a pretty spectacular timing, so getting very, very dangerous if you're the cut. They are going to look for a kill on a B9 here, though. He's Cold Snap is kind of messing with his timing, but they should still be able to get in. But there's the Rupture. Is it going to mean anything? Not really sure. Italiano coming in on the backline. Yarn's going to make his move as well. Scourge has no mana. Now he's stunned up. He gets hit up by the rebound, dropping low. Ice Wall.
Oh, boy.
Actually, make sure he doesn't get away. Now Pingu's gone as well, and Nico, well, he waited out the Rupture, but now he's hit by the Cold Snap. He's trying to make it out of here. But there's going to be another rebound into a Blood Right that isn't even needed. DogChamp just dog pile into the middle lane. B9 dies, but B9's just laughing his ass off, I bet, because he baits in 4.
Yeah, and that's the problem, or the slight problem here for the cut with both the PA and the Death Prophet. Nick, until he has Exo, is a space eater. Oh, and they can't afford to. They need to bring everybody right now.
They
cannot
really
lose
get here
Nick
in time. TPs are coming. Oh, hold on. Maybe they can get here in time. They're not doing as much damage as I thought they would. Global Silence is going to be used. DOT still ticking Nick down. Can they save him? He's trying to siphon. That might just be enough. But now they need to make sure they don't go too far. Yarn is going to TP in. They saved their hero. Now they need to make sure that this doesn't happen, as B-God is going to just have to die. Has the mana for it. But it's not going to be enough damage. Death Wards, though, coming in. Yaren. Okay. Well, it's a 1-for-1 support trade, which is a win for the cut, because, I mean, Nick was inches away from death there.
Yeah, but it's such a knee-jerk reaction. They see 4 TPs, Italiano takes the tier 2. That is just a free play that you can make purely just by using your eyes, you know? It's just that easy for them. And now Italiano with the Helm of the Overlord, gonna rotate to the triangle, pick up an ancient creep. Doesn't have maybe the best creep on deck just yet here, but I think DogChamp are still finding exactly what they want. And no way RCY connects. And oh, 10
Ooh.
HP on the Pango.
Sunstrike
No.
won't hit.
Okay. Whew.
Oh, man. That could have been just backbreaking if Nico had been taken down there, but ET, at this point, what do you do if you're the cut? Because the PA doesn't even have her Battle Fury yet, so Scourge isn't ready to go. Nico just got bopped in the middle lane, so he's got to heal, and is it really just down to push with Nick on Exo? Is that the only play they have right now?
Yeah, that's what it certainly feels like, but that's also where Nick, as we always like to throw the term around, is he battle ready? Is he ready for the engagement? And I genuinely don't think he is. And you see it reflected in his item build. He has just this hodgepodge of whatever, and okay, Rolling Thunder, he's still going to die to the creeps very possibly here, but trying to make space in Italiano, he's in trouble. Yeah, great bounces from Nico.
Okay. Oh, Yaren, that's very bold, but he is going to be able to get the dispose off, so they'll try and just take the quick kill onto Pingu. Not that quick after all, but they're still pushing their way forward. Nico, meanwhile, did get hit by Rupture, so he wants to fall back, but he can't afford to. Stonebank's going to take him down, and oh, they're just pushing their way forward. Nick into the base. Stonebank doesn't give a damn. Still just pushing. Race Car, Bloodseeker, tier 4s. Who gives a damn? I want the kill. I'm getting the kill, and there's nothing anyone's going to do about it.
No, and again, a great way for DogChamp to use their lineup. Scourge is top. They effectively trade spots. They say, okay, you've got your level 6, Nick. You got a Lotus Orb, I guess. You're going to go fight. I'm going to farm top. Top is where the good farm is. But you don't win the team fight still because they don't find enough with their first engagement. And that was, again, a situation where they didn't even use Roar. And it's only because they have the great bounces coming in from Nico. But they also don't escape. They don't get out. It's where I think maybe it's time to just wait for a blink or even just the ag shard on Pango so you can stick onto a target, but that's where you're still very countered in this game. And a very smart smoke from DogChamp here. They're looking for him in the triangle. There's a stack that Scourge would love to farm, but with the Hawk coming through... Oh, not pinging him out just yet, but they should know, and well, Pingu, he might just give up his life instead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's absolutely dead. But Nick is going to try to push in. Exo popped. B-God, that's a solo ult onto Yarn. It does take him down. But now, ooh, Lotus reflecting the roar. Maybe this is doable. Maybe they can catch up. But with Stonebank coming in, yeah, Nico has no more game. He's going to get ruptured. He is entirely trapped. Just going to have to try and fight his way through this, but it's not going to work. He gets taken down. And Nick,
no.
Nick, what are you doing here? That's too far forward. He has no backup. He doesn't have the damage. RCY was the target, but that's just not great. You outrun both Scourge and B-God by a mile, and well, initially, you know, that fight didn't seem too bad. Scourge gets away, you find some support kills, all as well, but then you just send the cores in to get picked off, and it's a bad spot.
Yeah, and again, the threat is not big enough from the rest of the lineup to force a rupture off of the Pango yet. So until he has what feels like might just be a Lincoln's at this point, you can't really play. And I do like that B-God makes the decision to just pop Echo Slam onto Yaren, because Marcy is going to be a problem if you don't take her out then and there. But at the same time, these team fights are not getting any easier. This is where you need real cores with real items. You need big BKBs. You need to run that tri-core like it is, but it's just not working for you right now. And even B-God, the main moneymaker out of that previous fight, just because he got the kill onto Yaren, has to buy an Ag Shard instead of a Blink Dagger. And of course, the Ag Shard's great, but that is not a Blink on your Shaker. That is not that same turn potential that the Blink affords you. And knowing that the Cut don't have anything, 50 seconds on both their big team fight ultis, they have to give up Roche when they have Pango, the perfect realm for Nico to actually fight in. And I feel like this is just the first of a few concessions that the Cut need to make, especially so that Scourge could finish off this BKB.
Lacey's got the Battle Fury, so the farming speed takes a rather sizable uptick here, but, well, It's always the caveat every time we see a Battle Fury build, right? Cool. You got your first expensive item. Now go use it to farm more. You can't fight still unless they just hand deliver him free kills, which really hasn't happened to this point. On the other side, though, Stonebank, he just got himself the Mjolnir upgrade, so he's ready to go. He's a killer.
No, he's ready. He wants these plays. They would love to find Nico here, and yep, with the Blink Dagger and RCY, they just have to global him, but they don't have vision. Oh no!
Where's their detection?
Invis Rune. Nobody called it. Oh, now global.
Okay, cancels out the roll. They get the very strange reflected toss, but it is still going to work. Nico goes down. Stonebank, though, is looking for a little bit more. Wants to track onto Nick. Here comes Italiano hiding behind the tree, so he didn't see the roar coming until it's too late. You are going to lose a second hero. Now the cut. It was looking like they were in a decent spot to get Nico away, but you still have to spend so much time worrying about B9, and they really walk into the trap, ET, because they set up on this ramp here in the east side jungle like, okay, let's turn, but that's the exact play the Silencer wants to see from you.
Mm-hmm. And the Rathas are punished. You can't get enough split push going. You don't force your opponents too far away from you. And of course, when DogChamp make those rotations, they're successful. They're playing in all 3 lanes. And this is where if you're the cut, once Nick respawns, you say to yourself, oh no!
He just gets spotted by
out.
creeps.
Yeah, the Ancient Shaman actually just kind of ends up killing him. And now, well, you would have wanted to smoke immediately because, again, you play in 3 lanes. That's illegal in Dota. You are not allowed to do so. That's where an opening should appear for you. But because you lose your carry, it's just not showing. And now Stonebank, okay, maybe you get the Aegis forced out here. Yarn's going to look for a play onto you, though. Okay, kind of some mistakes. This doesn't feel clean. The rest of the cores are trying to get up here in time, but will Stonebank just ruin you?
Oh.
Doesn't look like it.
He's losing some health here. Those ghosts are hitting him pretty hard. Nico's coming in, looking for the roar. Tornado EMP, though. Going to keep most of the rest of the lineup at bay. And now Nico, yeah, too far. Way too far. He's going to try and lay out for the kill. Will he get it? No, he won't. And now the Deafening Blast pushes him back. B-God is able to get in there for the stun, though. So they will still find the kill. But ET, that's still a hefty cost, right? That's 2 of your cores picked off. And I think B-God's going to get caught here as well. RCY, I don't know what that Sunstrike was, but he should still be able to claim this. Never mind. Italiano takes it, but they find the kill anyway.
Yeah. And you know, they killed Bloodseeker. That's all that matters, because that would have been really sad if he gets to survive or walk away as well. Against the tough decisions that B-God is so good at making when he's under this much pressure, but it is still just pebbles. It does not feel like it's going to be enough for them to really turn the tide here, especially because the rest of the DogChamp lineup, we just finished a BKB on Italiano Gangster, but both RCY and Yarn are about to have BKBs as well. And then, well, you say, Scourge, you got yours too, right? Yeah, coming out on Courier, you know. Maybe it's enough for me to actually show my face in a team fight, but if we lose that fight, well, that just might be the game right there. That might be an irrecoverable position to be in. And we could see the game slow down as well. I feel like this is where both teams could benefit heavily by slowing down, finishing items, and then playing for Roshan, but that's where DogChamp are still the ones in the driver's seats. They're still the ones with the better creep push. And again, if they force that exorcism out of Nick, well, then he becomes a ranged creep. He's just no longer really that scary.
And it does appear that DogChamp are going to be kind of pumping the brakes a little bit here, right? Nobody's really in an advanced position. They're just taking farm on their opponent's side of the map. So, yeah, fair enough. We had a just absolutely frenetic pace there. What is it? 38 kills in 24 minutes. So, they were going at each other. It does make sense that they would now want to sort of back it off and try and find some of those items. But if you're DogChamp, you want to farm, you want to slow the game down, cool, fine. But you do still need to try and at least keep tabs on the Cuts heroes, because they're looking for a fight. TP in from Italiano Gangster. RCY's coming over as well. Nico is going to get silenced, loses about half his HP on the initial combo, and he's dead. Death Ward on the high ground from Pingu is not going to last very long. Italiano Gangster will roar him up, should be able to find a quick and easy kill there, and they're looking for more as B-God gets spotted out, trapped by his own fissure, and killed off by the Sunstrike. So RCY gets all 3 of those kills, and, well, I said they needed to keep tabs on the Cuts heroes, ET. That's a pretty damn good job.
Yeah, and you kill the rats. That's the
Hmm.
best you could ask for there. If they're going to try and get farmed, that was even the cut trying to be aggressive on the supports that were showing top, but just bring the rest of the lineup, and RCY serendipitously doesn't give away too much of his position. And now, well, Scourge, he'd love to jump onto the Invoker, but he knows if he goes in, he gets ruptured, BKB gets popped, he sits there, and he either has to TP out or die. In this case, he'd TP out because there's no roar, but fact still stands. He can't afford to jump the Invoker. You need to force a position where that scenario can play out. But this is also where, because the rats just died top, you now get to get control of this top area near the Roche pit, and 2 minutes away, it's not a very long time. It's where I almost wish that the cut give a full lane over to B-God so he can actually get this Blink Dagger so they can just simply start a team fight. Because right now, they're just getting so severely out-farmed, and only one core at a time now is getting any items. Nico did just finish off the Blink Dagger. He's probably going to want that Ag Shard as well, and then he'll be able to fight, but
Oh,
they're
Nico.
pinging.
Global Silence is down. There's the rebound in. They're going to try and just take Nico out right away. They do exactly that. Now they're on to Nick. There's going to be the Roar, locking down the DP. Tornado flying overhead as well. Meteor into EMP. Nick is just going to get absolutely gutted. And this is starting to get a little bit rough on the side of the cut. 4 dead. Scourge the only survivor, but that's only because he wasn't even there. And now, BT, what do they do? I mean, they've got some buybacks, but will buybacks be enough to secure it? Maybe if they use the glyph as well, but over in that jungle, they did spot Scourge. But it looks like he's going to BKB TP home. So he is out, but he's back in the base that has no other defenders, so we're back to square one.
Yep, and now, and they at least get the free melee racks here. It feels like they're probably going to get the full set, and then we'll get to see how Roche is kind to us or not kind to us, because that was exactly what they wanted. They got their forcing play. If they get to reset now, whenever Global just plainly comes back off cooldown, they need to make a play in the next 50 seconds here from the cut. Otherwise, again, we're back to square one. They need to smoke, and I feel like after this mid wave, we'll probably see something from Pingu, but the issue is that we don't have a PA because the BKB's been popped. So we're just constantly getting our cooldowns used against us because we want to do something to punish the lack of global silence, but we simply can't because our 4 isn't strong enough. Our 4-man isn't able to make space for our 4 protect 1 lineup. And now they're walking back to the same area where they just lost this fight. There is no global though for 20 seconds, but oh, Nico pops just a little bit too early. And now they just have to walk away.
Oh, Yaren's going to pop a BKB. They're going to push their way in. Roar, meanwhile, on the back line, actually cut out Scourge, so there's no damage from the PA just yet. Now they try to make the move, but now the Rupture's down. Scourge can't fight. He's got to back away. The Meteors, though, are going to fly through, and the fight's done. It's over. B-God, points for trying, but yeah, that's it. GG called. And DogChamp just slam the door in the Cut's face.
Ooh, DogChamp, previous grand finalist here, making the lower bracket run look easy, but yeah, that was just definitive. And of course, you gave DogChamp some of their best heroes in the game, but also, I think, really feeling the pains there of first phasing that Pango in the fashion that they did. I think maybe if they have first pick, it looks a little bit easier because they can punctuate that first picking phase with the Pango, and then you have the follow-up bands to come after it. But because you have not just a pick, but also 3 more bands to play against, it just ends up being too much. And this is the first game as well where the silencer felt great. This felt like an impossible game from the cut. Everybody was just weak. You couldn't get an ulti off with the Witch Doctor. You couldn't look for Echo Slams. You could barely react to what he was doing. And the one hero that was itemized to prepare himself for this game was Nick, who spent so much time farming and so much time away from the team fights. His hero damage is basically nothing because he wasn't able to really effectively fight at all. And then you've got a single Lotus Orb split between your Pango, your Earthshaker, your Death Prophet, everybody who needs to get dispelled, and you can't do anything versus it. It's just a great pick from Bloody 9. And of course now, DogChamp, they've got the hammer. They're ready. They've got last pick come game 2. They're ready to 2 other opponents here and move on and move past. They just look great come playoffs.
Yeah, they're really turning it on at this point, and I'm just so unbelievably disappointed. This Lotus Orb gets picked up, right? We did see it reflected 1 roar in that fight in the West Side High Ground, but no reflections on the Rupture, right? We didn't really see much other than the one singular play. He was using it more for the dispel than the defensive purposes, and as you said, it's not enough because it's your only defensive item amongst 3 cores, and I don't really know, ET, because at this point, the cut banned some of the problem heroes that DogChamp had traditionally been playing before. So now, I mean, what else do you remove? You ban the Invoker, you ban the Beastmaster, but if you do that, you are pretty much capped out in game one. They're going to start letting heroes through anyway.
Yeah, it's also where, of course, drafts will switch up, sides will swap, but Yarn Marcy is also just as scary. Giving him this hero just seems like you can't give him his Tiny, you can't give him his Marcy. The first phase is just so different every single game from DogChamp. And again, this is where come playoff stage, coming into these best of threes, hero variance matters so much. It's where the cut have played probably altogether 25 different heroes in the tournament so far. DogChamp are easily double that, and that's reflected in the bans. It's where you really need to focus down what is DogChamp's real secret to victory? And that's where, in a best of three, are you out of time here for the cut? Can you solve DogChamp before the series is over? Because you've got 4 minutes now to come up with a different opener to actually play versus your opponents here. Otherwise, that's it. In the cut, another team looking hot coming into the group stage, looking better than I feel like a lot of teams have said about them in a very long time, and then leaving early in a very similar fashion to Ravens.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit eerie at this point. Both of the teams that dropped from upper bracket are currently a combined 0 for 3, but the cut, hoping it's not 0 and 4, right? They still have a chance to fight their way back into this, but they're going to have to turn it around pretty damn quickly here. So we'll see what game 2 has in store. We'll see what adjustments they make and whether they'll be enough or if it's going to be DogChamp breezing their way through to that next round. So we'll be stepping away for a little bit, but the game 2 draft is coming your way in just a couple of minutes. So stick around. We'll be back.